You know what time it is. You know what time it is.
How firm thy friendship. Oh, how
you know what time it is. I'm brawl with them boys of the fall. You know what time it is. On the ground with a nose for the ball. You know what time it is. Blood, sweat, and them tears for this game. Leaving it all out on the field with no fear for you lames. Yeah, you know what time it is. Come brawl with them boys of the fall. Covered in gray and scarlet, massive, stiff arms to your jaw. We breaking it. We sick of seeing you clowns with the crown. We taking it.
What up, Buckeye Nation? Welcome to the Buckeye Boys, where we talk about college football with real fans. I'm Devin. That's Mello. And tonight, you already know what it is, man. Everybody knows what happened, right? Another freak out moment for a lot of people. Here on the Buckeye Boys, zero freak out going on over here. But Mello, how you doing today, man?
Man, I'm good. Just got my daughter out the ice bath. She was not feeling it. She was like, man, it never feels like this. I just bought a portable one for Christmas, so that way I could take it on the road when we travel. But yeah, I'm like, man, stop acting like a chump. You want to be an athlete, you need to take care of your body.
Dude, I've almost pulled the trigger several times on an ice bath, man. My body, I changed my workout routine, so every inch of my body is so sore this week. But not only that, not even working out wise, like ice baths are supposedly very, very good for you. I've never done it, but
you need to do it, especially the way we work out. Like, it's really good for you. You just need to get through the first minute and a half, and then it's all mental. I suggest putting on some like smooth jazz or something that's relaxing.
Yeah. I mean, I've been in them before. I like that. I like that mental side of it, where you just have to tough your way through it. You know what I mean? You got to train your mind to kind of go elsewhere and ignore that feeling that you get. Exactly. I'm all about it. I'm kind of crazy, man. I like pain sometimes. I like it. But
what's up, Aunt Chris? I saw Aunt Chris in the chat.
Okay, what up, Aunt Chris? Shout out everybody in the chat, man. All the regulars, appreciate y'all showing up like you always do, man. We're family here. It's amazing. Quick reminder, man, hit the like button if you could, please. Super chats, we're up and rolling again, man. So any of those are obviously appreciated. Share this feed on Twitter, man, Facebook, Instagram. Just do it real quick for us. That'd be great. I guess Lunatic wants me to get a tattoo.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'll tell you guys a story about a tattoo real fast. It's going to be interesting for you. So, some of you guys know my story. I spent a little bit of time in prison from stupid mistakes when I was early. I was addicted to heroin for 10 years. You're going to do some pretty stupid things when you do that. So, anyway, I was in there, and, I had a tattoo drawn out in front of my neck. It said left, the number 4, dead. It said left for dead, man. So I was about to go all thug, you know what I mean? And somebody was waiting in the phone line for me. And right when they were getting ready to get started, they're like, yo, Andy. They called me Andy in there. They said, it's your time on the phone. So I go over there, I call my mom, and she's like, what you doing, son? I said, I'm about to get a tattoo across the front of my neck. She said, no, you're not. That ain't happening. She said, I'll never talk to you again. So switched it up, got one on the side instead. But maybe a little bit too much information for everybody. Please don't judge me. I made some mistakes in life. Jesus, God, absolutely phenomenal. Saved my life. It's been about 5 years now. So rolling strong, man. But this channel's been a blessing, man. So we've been getting more involved here lately. We couldn't help but come on today because we got some news. Everybody knows that Justin Fry left for the NFL. We expected this to happen coming up once we heard he was getting interviewed. And when when your team goes out and wins a national title, your coaching staff is going to be the most sought after coaching staff in the nation. This is not the same as what happened last year with Scum. Their coaching staff, they didn't have a choice but to flee and run, or they were going to get screwed. I love how they're trying to compare that. That's laughable. There's no need to even really go into that too awful much because it's a pretty laughable thing. So tonight, just a few things, and we're going to dive into the Justin Fry, who we think might potentially replace them. How is this going to affect recruiting? What's this going to do? What it's about? But Mello, you got any opening statements or thoughts about what I just said or anything else?
Yeah, thank you guys for joining us. I hope you guys are having a safe and friendly weekend with family and friends. And I just want to say rest in peace to everyone that died in these tragic plane crashes. One of the guys on the Black Hawk that crashed into the American Airlines is actually from this area. He went to Parkview High School, graduated in 2014. That's the same high school Mike Matthews graduated from. He's a wide receiver at Tennessee. It's also the rival high school of my kids. So just want to say rest in peace to them, and hopefully they knew the Lord so that way they could be.
Yeah, no doubt. You cut out there in the last minute. Say something, see if we can still hear you.
Okay, you hear me?
Yeah. You're good now. You're good.
Yeah.
So, a couple things before we dive into the Justin Fry thing. Victor Singleton, the number 3 defensive back in the nation from Toledo, Ohio, I believe, signed with Illinois today, right? Before I get into what I want to say about it, I want to say that, different kids have different support groups. They were raised differently. They go about things a little differently than we might think is the right way. So when we here on Buckeye Boys say our opinion on how these things are going, we're not judging the kid. We're not saying that the way Victor Singleton we don't know his story. We're not there. We don't know all the details of his life. So we have no idea why he makes the decisions he makes. All we can do is report on what we see and maybe how we feel about it. But he chose Illinois. But to that, I'll say that it was funny because even before he did this, I never really thought he would sign with Ohio State. If I could give you guys an example, I would say he's probably the Trey McNutt of this class. Just the one that you always see him on social media. You always just see him interacting and talking, and he just loves it, man. He loves the attention. He loves the limelight, per se. At least that's the feeling I get from it. But he chose Illinois. There's still we signed Jacob Weatherspoon. He's a defensive back, correct? There's still Albert Hill, and I'm not worried about that at all. You know what I mean? It's still early. Coach Walt does his thing. The only one I'm really concerned with is Albert Hill. That's about it.
So for me, with Victor Singleton going to Illinois, if he doesn't flip, which more than likely he probably won't, because I also think it's not just a money thing. If you look at that DB room, you have to be really special to crack it. Otherwise, you're gonna sit and develop because it's such an elite room. It's like our wide receiver room. So for me, what this does is it tells me there's a little more pressure on OG Walt to land Albert Rock Hill. The thing for me, I'm not 100% confident that he ends up at Ohio State. I hope I'm wrong, but he plays for Fast 7 out of Houston, Texas. And if you all know, that's the same 7-on-7 team that Trey McNutt played for. Trey McNutt is recruiting him hard to Oregon. He had him wearing Oregon gear not too long ago while he was on a FaceTime with him and Dan Lanning was there. So we have our work cut out for us. And I think at this moment, it's time for us to put a fence around Ohio. You can see teams like Clemson trying to come for our guys. Oregon's trying to come for our guys. Illinois is a team up north. UGA, a.k.a. Georgia, Bama, all these people are trying to come for our guys. There's elite talent in Ohio. I feel like if you get Florida, Ohio, and Georgia locked down and a little bit of Texas, you win in the Natty almost every 3 to 4 years. So need to take care of our own home base first. Lock it down.
Yeah, I kind of feel the opposite about Albert Hill. And obviously recruiting, when we say we're not predicting anything, we just have feelings. Things change, right? And based off of feelings, based off of videos I've seen and his response to some things, I mean, I feel like it's going to be a Buckeye, and I feel like it's going to be a Buckeye a little bit sooner than what anybody thinks. I don't know a timeline, but let's say within a month, I could see him committing to the Buckeyes. But just my opinion there. So that's a little bit of recruiting news. We're going to be doing next week. We're going to be doing a couple recruiting videos of kind of starting fresh with the class and talking about the players that are already committed and talking about some of the top prospects that are being chased and give you guys our opinions on the players and who we think. I believe Mello and somebody in the chat might be starting a show as well. I don't know
we can talk about it.
if he wanted me
put it
to.
out
You
there.
can talk about it right now if you want to.
Yep. So everybody, I'm gonna let you know that we're gonna do a bi-weekly show. It's gonna be me and Mika. You know, the goddess of recruiting. She knows all. She's just as elite at this recruiting game as any of the big timers that are out there. If you know Mika, you know this to be true. So look out for our future recruiting here on the Buckeye Boys, and something that we're going to do throughout the rest of the year, even during the season. It's a little tougher during the season when it was just me and Dev doing this to do recruiting and also do our normal shows. So this should help us a lot because Mika is an encyclopedia. She is literally a savant when it comes to recruiting. So you guys can look forward to that, and we should be jumping off here soon.
Yeah, amen. By the way, fire shirt, bro. And on that note, I want to talk about something, man. You guys remember how I kept bringing up, is it 2024 or is it 2025? Let me show you guys something. I'm not showing you my hairline. Ignore it, man. I think I'm going bald, dude. But anyway.
It happens, bro. Trust me. That says 2025. My shirt says 2024.
Bro, they need to get this together, dude. Somebody better make a decision and just say, hey, this is what it is, bro.
It's both, if you think about it, because we're going back to back. So, I mean,
but
it's
it can't be.
2025
Oh, yeah.
Madden
Yeah.
season. We're going back to back.
On that note, but I mean, it needs to be called, it's the 2024 Natty because it was the 2024 season. Most of the games this season were played in it's 2024, man. I'm so mad, dude. I got a hat.
That hat is fire. It's sold out.
I know. Is it?
Dude, I couldn't get that hat. I was looking. It's sold out everywhere, and I don't know.
Bro, my little brother got this for me, dude. I didn't even know it. I didn't order hats. He just showed up, knocked on my door, and gave me his hat. So he bought himself one too. Hey guys, by the way, yeah, newsflash, my little brother bought one of these hats. I'm telling you, Buckeye fever is real, dude. He ordered a hoodie too, bro. He's been walking around the Ohio State hoodie, a fire one, by the way. So yeah. I think it's on, man. I'm about to get him on here. We're about to get him on here, dude, because I always walk by the living room and I can hear him. He be watching Ohio State videos, dude. I'm telling you, it's over.
Yes, look at the magic.
Took him to the Cotton Bowl, and it's over, bro. It's over, man. Dude, and can you imagine your first college game ever being the Cotton Bowl?
Against Texas. That was a lit game, too.
Bro, dude, I'm telling you. The most lit game I've ever been to. That was it. Right. That was my favorite game to go to. It was with my brother, my family, but it's hard, too, because it's like that was my favorite game to go to, but my favorite one to watch was the Rose Bowl. I don't know, bro. That Rose Bowl was fire. That was sick, man. But on some other notes, we all watched Scoop earlier. I guess one of the names out there for defense is the Pittsburgh defensive coordinator, and a couple people in the chat want to know our thoughts on it. I'll start off by just saying that I trust Ryan Day, right? A couple details that they brought out over there on Scoop. Everybody wants to bring up where Pittsburgh's defense was rated 81st in the country. Newsflash, man, Oklahoma State's defense was ranked 81st in the country too when Ryan Day got him here. Okay, so that just goes to show you, man, it's a whole different animal when you come to Ohio State and you're dealing with the talent you're dealing with here. Like, it's not even when you look at a coach for these positions, offensive line or defensive coordinator, whatever position, I mean, take into account where they're coaching at, okay, and the talent that they have on their roster and the teams that they are playing. It's a big deal. It makes a difference. As much as we want to act like it doesn't sometimes, it does. Now, I know we want a defensive coordinator that is doing the most with less. Well, that's him. Like, their defense this year got on it with the sacks. I think, did I read somewhere they had 230 sacks? There's no way that's right, in 1 year.
Not one season.
Hey, bro. Hey, somewhere there's some 230 sacks is floating around somewhere. But anyway, that might be with all the seasons he's been there or something like that. But he had a bunch of sacks. So there's that. And Matt Guerrieri and Tim Walton, that's still out there. But that's my thoughts on that. You got any thoughts on the Pittsburgh defensive coordinator?
Man, I actually, unfortunately, missed Scoop. I had daddy stuff to do, but I'll catch the rerun. But for me, I still
Well,
go with G. Walt and Matt G. What we said
yeah.
yesterday. That's my pick. If not, and we're gonna go outside, then listen, you get that $4 million and you go after Steve Spagnuolo from Kansas City Chiefs. He's the best DC in football, period, any level. You go get him. If you're gonna go outside of the room, you go get a big dog, a big fish, and that way OG Walt, he won't feel offended. Matt G won't feel offended. Because Steve is really that dude, and people love working with him and working for him and playing for him. So if you're going outside, go get Steve Spagnuolo for 4.5, $4 million, whatever you got to do. Drop that bag on him and let's bring him to Columbus.
Yeah, I mean, I trust Ryan Day.
Yeah.
Really, the main thing I'm concerned with, and I think Ryan Day is going to do this, is that whoever we hire, defensive coordinator, we keep our defensive staff. We keep James Laurinaitis, Matt Guerrieri, Tim Walton, Larry Johnson. Side note, got a little bit of a nugget here for you. I don't know what this looks like, but Jason Taylor, the Miami defensive line coach, I don't know. Just keep your eyes open. Maybe being a Buckeye one day. Just
hold
wanted
on
to
one
point that
second.
out.
My bad. This is my daughter.
Yeah, you're good. So, yeah, that's a little nugget for you. But that's the main thing I'm concerned about is keeping that together. So if Ryan Day goes out and gets a defensive coordinator, because here's the other thing. The NCAA changed their rules on how many countable coaches you can have that coach on the field, okay? You still have to keep your 10 for recruiting. But even so, you can still bring in a defensive coordinator, and if he wants to bring a couple of his staff members with him that he really likes, he can do that. They can come in as GAs and on-field coaches and different things like that. So he can still bring some people with him, and we can still keep our guys that are counted as the 10 countable coaches that can go out and recruit. So there's a way to work that out there. I trust Ryan Day in that decision. But moving on to what we all heard today, Justin Fry took the Arizona Cardinals offensive line coaching job. The dude was out recruiting yesterday as well. I think he's on the road. He was out visiting people in home yesterday with recruiting. So it's kind of wild, man. That's just what it is. You can't blame him. Shout out to him. We appreciate what you did, Coach Fry. Sorry about how much crap I talked about you. I did. I'll tell you I did. You proved me wrong. You made me look stupid. Praise the Lord. I love that you made me look like an idiot. You won us a Natty. You did a beautiful thing with the offensive line this year, going 9 deep, dealing with what you did. That being said, I just tell you, I don't want this to sound like I'm downgrading Coach Fry. I'm just about to speak reality to you with what I see. Okay, so scheme is a huge part of the offensive line. So shout out Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly had a lot to do, right, with this offensive line and being able to do what they did today with their scheme. Okay, you got that. Then you got Tim Drevno, which if you guys know anything about Tim Drevno, he's a very experienced football coach. Like, it's kind of wild that we have him as a quality control coach on our team. He coached for the 49ers. He coached at, Samford, and he coached at our rival as well for a couple years, the offensive line coach there. But so we had a lot of help, right? So, he deserves all the credit I just said. I'm not saying these things to take away credit from him. I'm saying these things to let Buckeye Nation know that we're going to be okay, because Chip Kelly's still here, Ryan Day's still here, Tim Drevno's still here. We got a lot of people still on the coaching staff that can still hold this thing together. And also, this could be a blessing in disguise, because when you keep the same scheme, the same coaching staff in regards to that, let's just be honest. Justin Fry lacked in the recruiting department just a little bit. So this could turn out to be a pretty big blessing for Ohio State in that we can go out and get an offensive line coach that can recruit. That's an A-plus recruiter out of high school. Justin Fry did good in the portal and whatnot, but I would still like to see a coach that can go out there and recruit out of the high school rankings a little bit better. But I wish Fry didn't leave. I would want him back for another year, but yeah. I'm just speaking reality here. Mello, what's your thoughts on that?
I think you hit the nail on the head. I think whoever we go get, we need to go get someone that's an elite recruiter, period. Because the development is still in the room. It's still in the program. It's still on the team. It's still with the scheme, as you so eloquently put it. The players, when the O-line was struggling, we had the same players playing. The scheme changed. That's what changed a lot. And then the actual rep that they got, game reps that they got changed. So the chemistry developed. And you had the best offensive lineman, to me, in the nation in Donnie Jackson. And what a phenomenal leader he is. And you have Will Howard, who's also a great leader. So I feel like get an elite recruiter. We're still going to develop at an elite level, but now we're going to start our floor is going to be much higher, and the ceiling is still going to remain high. Also, don't be shocked if you see someone like a Will Conroy flip from Oregon to Ohio State. Now, if I'm Oregon, I'm probably peeing in my pants right now because that was really the only thing that stopped him from committing to Ohio State in the first place. He didn't have a good relationship with Coach Fry, and that's just a fact.
Yeah, there's no doubt. So as far as a lot of people are, oh my gosh, Fry had momentum with the in-state, offensive linemen and momentum with Micah Smith and all these other people. When have we not had momentum with big-time recruits? It's every year. It's every year we're in on a lot of these players. It never gets finished. So there's my first point to this. Second point, I spoke with a couple of them today, and Ohio State is not, it's the Block O, people. It's the Block O, man. Dude, we won a Natty. Ohio State winning his program last 25. Dude, players see that, man. So it's the Block O. That's my first point. The second point is, talked to two of them. Both the recruits said that, it sucks. But it doesn't eliminate Ohio State from anything. Both their responsive was, I'm waiting to see who they hire, right? Maxwell Riley. There is an article over on Bucknuts. I did speak to him, but I'll speak about what was already reported over on Bucknuts is that, because he was down to Clemson and Ohio State, and everybody was like, oh, what's over with for him now? Nah, dude, Clemson just changed their offensive line coach a year ago. So Maxwell Riley built a new relationship with that coach, right? It changed for him already. Cincinnati was his first official visit. They got a whole new coaching staff now, right? So these recruits are aware that this is college football, man, right? And they're also aware that if they reach their dreams one day of the NFL, they're going to have to learn how to deal with this. Those changes, coaches are going to roll over. You're going to have to learn how to build new relationships and learn from a new guy every day. So things are getting pushed up a little more and more. What I mean by that is these players are being kind of forced to mature faster than they used to. They're being forced to learn how to deal with coaching changes, learn how to make money decisions, learn how to make decisions on your own way faster, and they're kind of conforming to that, So everything is not lost because Coach Fry has moved on. There's other coaches on the staff. Ryan Day and Chip Kelly, they see offensive linemen too. These kids don't just build relationship with only their position group coach. They build it with all of these coaches that are on staff. You never know who they've really connected with. And Tim Drebno's still there and different things like that. So, Mello, you got anything to speak on as far as recruiting? And then we'll dive into the names that we're hearing and we'll give you our thoughts on.
Did you want to tell them who else you talked to, or no? You just gonna keep that for a later time.
Keep it for a later time.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
I don't got anything else to say. You covered it, man.
Gotcha. Cool. Well, here we go. We'll dive into the names. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about the first and most obvious name to me. And this kind of goes along the fact that Ryan Day is in searching for a defensive coordinator as well. And also to have to go out and look for an offensive line coach kind of puts a lot on your plate. Well, to be honest with you, there's an answer on the staff, and that's Tim Drebno. He's done it before at several different schools. And like I said, man, there was a lot of people, a lot of offensive linemen in the Woody that played on this team that had very high regards for Tim Drebno and the teaching that he did. He was Chip Kelly's offensive line coach at UCLA when he was there. So there's already that pretty tight relationship built as far as scheme-wise. Tim Drebno did the thing with Chip Kelly. So pretty easy match. Now here's the holdup. it has been said, and this is all it is. It has been said. I've never heard any proof or anything like this that Tim Drevno does not like to recruit. I don't really have anything else to say on that because I don't know if that's true or if that's people's fears that are just coming up. So I know we got a lot of other names to hit, but I wanted to go down one by one here, Mello. So your thoughts on Tim Drevno?
I like Tim Drevno, but I like what Buckeye Chuck just posted because that's actually what was running through my head, and he posted it. I think he could hear me thinking out loud, but that's what I was thinking. You can have Wilson be the O-line coach. Drevno still developed. Plus, that gives you a little freedom because Wilson used to be our OC. So, say after next year we go back to back and Chip's like, all right, Ryan, I held you down. You know, I love you like a son, like a little brother. I'm ready to go to the NFL. Then you can promote Wilson to OC, promote Drevno to O-line, and start the process all over again. You see what I'm saying? So, like, it's little stuff. So, for me, I like Kevin Wilson. I think he could fit. I like Drevno. There's a lot of different options. But right now, I want to talk about Kevin Wilson. He was here before. He can recruit. Everyone knows this. We've seen him recruit some elite talent on the offensive side of the ball. He could call plays. And that's the reason when he left, the offense fell out of sync for a time being because Coach Day had to hold it down because he didn't trust anybody else on the staff until Chip came last year. So I think Kevin Wilson would be a great candidate as well. What's your thoughts on Kevin Wilson?
Yeah, 100%. That's the next one I was going to bring up. And to be honest with you, I spoke a little bit too soon. I think I said Tim Drevno would be my choice. That's not what I meant. Twitter is my proof. I've made a Twitter thing. Kevin Wilson is who I would pick for this job. He spent 6 years at Ohio State. He worked right alongside Ryan Day with some pretty elite offenses, here. So that relationship, that dynamic's already built. He's unemployed. I believe he lost his job at Tulsa. I don't know the details on that, but I think the whole coaching staff did. But so, yeah, his son's on the team. Not that matters. I'm just giving a detail to let people know. But he's a good recruiter, too. And he knows, he has a relationship with some coaches on the staff already. So, to be honest with you, bringing that up, Kevin Wilson as the 10 cannibal coach that can go out and recruit with Tim Drevno still, back there developing. If you can hold that dynamic together without somebody else getting stolen, those are some big-time names to keep in positions, right, of that regard. But that'd be pretty fire, man. That'd be a pretty good one for sure. The next one that I wouldn't mind either, to be honest, and I think people are literally just throwing darts at a board and seeing what hits, and Joe Rudolph, Notre Dame, offensive line coach. That's just a name that I'm not sure we're even going after him or whatever, but I mean, we saw what they did in the Natty. We saw Notre Dame's offensive line all year long. He's pretty darn good with offensive line. Man, I haven't dug into his recruiting prowess much, but Joe Rudolph, man, you go out and snag that joker, man. But then, again, you go into this of trying to keep, like, staff in tune with each other and all that. And if you go hire him, is he going to want to bring in some of his own people, forcing us to get rid of some of these people? But just another name. I don't even know if that's out there or if we're going to go after him. But what's your thoughts about that?
So we know he's an elite recruiter. He recruited Joe Alt. Like, Joe Alt is a monster. He's one of the best old linemen in the past decade to ever play college football. But at the same time, what makes me a little nervous about him, like, I think he's a fantastic coach. But if you look, after the Natty, they had 2 starters that hit the portal. Their center, I think he ended up at Indiana. So, like, he went to a team you just beat, right? Why are they hitting the portal? Unless it's just straight up a monetary thing, it's a little odd to make it to the Natty, have years left, and to just bounce on your O-line coach and your friends. So, like, I feel, and not just, if it was just a one-off thing, then I would be like, all right, it was probably money, but to have 2 starters do that, it kind of leads with some smoke. So that's my only concern. Like, what do the kids not like but I know he's an elite recruiter, period. So, like, that's one of the main things. But also, like you said, it could mess up the chemistry with the coaching staff in the room already and the WAC. And that's the last thing we need, especially after what just happened with our DC, our ex-DC, who's the ops now. I won't use his name, but thank you for helping us win the Natty, but you're the ops.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, this is the last one I'm going to talk about, and this is the fan favorite. The fans totally, if they had to choose, this is who our offensive line coach would be. So I want to break a few things down here. LaCharles Bentley, man.
Yes, I love it.
Dude, I would lose my mind. That would be amazing. I would absolutely love it. Now, let me bring up a couple points that I've seen some fans bring up. He's never coached. He's never coached in college. He's never coached in the NFL. Why would we bring in somebody with no experience? Well, let me explain to you that he's the guy the coaches go to, okay? This dude, like, owns a company that is in every aspect involved with offensive line, equipment, technique, knowledge. I mean, he has relationships with, several of the top offensive line coaches in the country. He goes around to colleges and trains offensive linemen. Colleges hire him to come there and talk about technique and train technique and all this. I mean, he designs equipment specific for offensive linemen. So I think we can crumble that little sheet of paper up of, well, we can't do that. He's never been a coach, and toss it to the side. Okay. Now here is a real issue with LaCharles Bentley. This one's real. He offered his services for free to Ohio State to come in for free and help the offensive line this year. He offered that. He went into the Woody with Ryan Day and Justin Fry and said, hey, I want to come here for free, and I want to help the offensive line develop. Whatever you guys need, I'm here for you. He got shut down. They denied LaCharles Bentley's help. Now, I'm not going to get into what a stupid move, what idiots got it. They want a Natty, so you can't really do that anymore. Whatever they did this year, they win. They got it right. But I say that to say, might be a little turmoil there with the relationship to overcome that. My next thing is, would LaCharles Bentley even be willing to do this? He owns his own business. He makes plenty of money. Would he do this? Well, the answer is yes. How do we know this? Because he told us.
Yep.
He told us in the Scoop interview over there that if he was offered the Ohio State offensive line coach job, that he would entertain it. So I think at bare minimum, Ryan Day needs to pick up the phone and make a phone call. Bare minimum, right? You just lost your offensive line coach. At bare minimum, let's get LaCharles Bentley involved in the program now. Let's let it happen. Yep. Maybe Fry was the one holding that up. Maybe it wasn't Day. Maybe Fry was like, no, we got Tim Drebno. We got Mike Saleni. We got enough help here. Chip Kelly. We got enough help. We don't need a bunch of chiefs in this building. And that's the other thing about LaCharles Bentley. He's a chief, okay? Yeah. When he comes in, he's going to want to do it his way. And there's not going to be any talking about it. It's going now. I'm talking like I know the dude personally. I don't, right? I'm just reporting what I've heard from people that do know him personally and kind of how he operates. Like, you could bring the dude in to play offensive line for Heist. I don't know if you guys have seen him or not, but the dude looks like a freaking bodybuilder. He's jacked.
He's a monster.
But, yeah, so I think at bare minimum, the phone needs to be picked up and a phone call needs to be made. Because the excuse of he's never coached, that could be crumbled up and thrown out. The dude's elite at that. And I've also heard people are trying to pick apart his recruiting. He's never recruited, but some people are saying, well, he tried to get Ohio State to recruit a couple offensive linemen that were busts. It's just like, holy crap, bro. Nobody's ever going to be 100 out of 100. Especially on offensive line. That is the hardest position in college by far to value, to see into the future. You know what I mean? To evaluate, and to see, hey, who's going to be elite, who's not going to be. Dude, that's as hard, the hardest there is. So I'll just straight up tell you, LaCharles Bentley, he's about relationships. He's about these kids. He's about getting them better. You talk about a recruiter. He would be the ultimate recruiter. In my mind, I'll give the chances of him being coach out of 10, 10 being he 100% will be the coach. I'm at a 3. I got a 3, right? And that's only because he's an alumni and he already offered his assistance and he said he would do it. So I got a 3. Ryan Day's championship beard. Thank you so much for the Mello. Were we just trying to both hit it at the same time? Dude, I was pressing that thing, dude. Like, well, what's going on right now? Thank you so much for gifting the 5 Buckeye Boys memberships. We got to be up to like 100 members by now. This is wild, dude.
Yeah,
appreciate
we
you guys
appreciate
doing
that,
it,
brother. That's always helpful to the channel and for us. It gets us in front of more people because of the algorithm that's on YouTube, and we get to talk more, and the family just grows. So that's awesome. But I wanted to say a few thoughts about LaCharles. For me, LaCharles is like Barry Bonds. I don't care what you say about the steroid usage, whatever. I don't mind the steroid usage in baseball. It didn't bother me. It's not a contact sport. It's not somewhere where people are going to die. That's your body. That's between you and God. You were entertaining us. That was the best era of baseball, in my opinion, in terms of entertainment. Shout out to Donald and Karen Rosbach for gifting 5 membership. We love you, brother and sister. You guys are awesome. For me, when it comes to recruiting, he'll be the best recruiter out of any names we brought up, because there's kids that literally, high school kids that fly from all different states around America to go train with him. Yeah. You think they're not going to want to go play for him? They're spending thousands of dollars to just go train with him. So if you're giving them an offer to come to Ohio State, and if you're elite, you're going to get NIL money. So in theory, they're making money to play here, to train with the guy that they will spend thousands of dollars to train with for maybe a couple of days. I think he would kill recruiting. I think he would crush it. Number 1. Number 2, he is an alumni. So that means he's a legacy here. That's the same thing as Heartline. That's the same thing as James Laurinaitis. That's the same thing as OG Walt. And what do we know about legacies? They understand the culture at Ohio State already. You don't have to teach them the culture. They understand the fan base. They understand what all the games mean to win. They understand what the game is. So at the end of the day, that's my favorite pick. I've been screaming LaCharles Bentley forever. Yes, Day proved us wrong because he is a very good developer, but I feel like LaCharles would do the same. He could develop at an elite rate, and he can recruit, and he also will have a support staff. He will teach different techniques. And as my co-host and host right here, Dev, just said and mentioned, he creates equipment specifically for the O-line. So just think we'll be at the forefront of that as well. And at Ohio State, is always good to be on the forefront of everything. And that's where we should be. And that's where our place should be, being the winningest program in the last 25 years. So I vote LaCharles Bentley. My second choice is Kevin Wilson. My third choice will be Drevno. My fourth choice will be Rudolph from Notre Dame. What about you? How would you rank your choices if you had to pick?
Dang, man. Let me start with this. The LaCharles thing would just be it would be complicated. He's been pretty vocal about how he feels about how Ohio State handles their offensive line room and their offensive line recruiting. He's been very vocal about it, and
in what manner?
He's criticized them in a negative light, to put it bluntly. That doesn't mean his criticisms haven't been correct, okay? But I heard it happen on an interview. You know what I'm saying? So the reason I
asked you that before you go on, I'm gonna just ask you another question with that.
Yeah.
If he takes over that room, right, then you would expect him to fix those issues, right?
Correct.
So would that, in theory, if there's some validity in what he's complaining about, in theory, that would elevate that room, would it not?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I'm there with you. I'm following you. But the issue is can the other coaches get over that? Can Ryan Day and whoever else is the one making these decisions, can they get over that? Can they swallow their pride and their ego, and can they do that? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, well, that's the biggest question. So, but my number one vote would be LaCharles Bentley. That's just what it is. And then I'm gonna keep it real with you, dude. My number 2 is probably Joe Rudolph. Right. Number 3,
I want you to keep it real. That's what we do here.
Number 3, Kevin Wilson. Number 4, Tim Drebno. That's just
why do you put Joe Rudolph as 2 for you?
I've just seen what he's been doing, man. I've seen what he's been doing. Now when I heard you earlier talk about those kids leaving for the portal, it's my understanding that number one, because of their injuries, they weren't normal starters, the guys that left. And number 2, they're leaving because there's better ones behind them. Right now, that's the positive take on it. Those are the options where Joe Rudolph doesn't look bad. So obviously, I'm sitting here trying to, boost up my number 2 choice for it. But he's in the game right now. I loved what Notre Dame did on their offensive line this year. I love the recruiting that they do on the offensive line. I think if you give him the resources of Ohio State, it's just the most. I've just seen it, right? It's tough though. I'm very close there with Kevin Wilson and Joe. I definitely want Joe before Tim Drebno for sure. There's no doubt in my mind there. And the only reason I would do Joe over Kevin is because he's in it right now. He's an offensive line coach right now. It's been a minute for Kevin. Kevin has not specifically worked with the offensive line much in his career. He has for sure. I know that's his love and whatnot, but to me, those can be interchangeable, right? But any 4 of the people that I've talked about tonight, if we find out tomorrow they're the offensive line coach, I'm not sweating it. And to be honest with you, I'm back to my very first statement. I'm not going to sweat whoever Ryan Day picks. I'm just not, bro. He earned my trust, man. I'm not going to sweat over the DC, the offensive line coach. And if we lose another person, I'm just not sweating, man. I think Ryan Day has just elevated himself after what he did this year. He's elevated itself close to a Nick Saban type status where Nick Saban, dude, dealt with so much staff turnover and just kept the train rolling. That's kind of the view I view Ryan Day in right now. And that's a heavy statement to make because he's far from being in that status yet, but I got to keep it real. That's where I see him now, and I think that Ryan Day's going to make the right decisions, and he's learned how to handle stuff like this.
I think you bring up a whole lot of valid points, especially with Rudolph. I actually agree with you. I would probably flip Rudolph with Drebno. The only reason I picked Drebno over Rudolph is just for the continuity and the WAC. Because whenever you get somebody from the outside, you don't know how that's going to flow in terms of chemistry and relationship with the other offensive staff. So that's the only reason. Now, to be honest with you, I trust Day as well. He's proven to be an elite CEO. That's what he did. If you look at all his offseason moves from the Cotton Bowl up into the Natty, he has navigated this brilliantly. Like, I'm going to stop calling him Coach Day and start calling him Coach Daniels. You know what I mean? Like
Thanos?
Daniels. I'd like to call him Daniels. But like
Daniels.
He collected all the Infinity Stones and he snapped his fingers and he said, I run and I rule college football. And I think, honestly, people better get used to it. There's a lot of people doubting, thinking this was a fluke year for us. We just had the most talented team. Like we didn't assemble, like Coach Day didn't assemble it. Coach Daniels didn't assemble it. Like he didn't put the staff together to coach these kids up. Everyone improved. Like the light-skinned Ed Reed, Caleb Downs, came from Alabama elite, but he took his game to another level since he came here, which I give the staff that credit as well as to Caleb Downs as well. He had to put in the grind and the work, but the staff also had to be there to support. So people that, like, I heard there was some kind of report out there. I'm not going to put any names out of there because I don't agree with them and I don't want it to come off negative. But they were saying, like, one of the reasons the op left to go to Happy Valley was because he said Coach Day ran a loose ship and that it was chaotic in the WAC. There's no way you win in a Natty the way, in the fashion they want it, for it to be chaotic. I need certain people, Josh Pate, JD Piquel, that other show that said this and reporting it like it's a fact to use some common sense. If it was
Yes.
chaotic in the whack, there's no way they're winning a 12-team playoff in the path that they had to go and win it. So, like, you need to, like, check yourself on some of the stuff you're reporting. Just because you have a major fan base doesn't mean you're saying legit stuff. And I love your show and I love who you are, but that was a dumb take to me. It was idiotic. I do not believe it for 1 second. And of course, if you're on the way out because you're disgruntled with your situation, you might try to throw a little salt in the wound on the way out and make up some rumors. And then you have people that pick it up just to pick it up for whatever reason. So I don't believe that at all. Coach Day is an amazing CEO, and expect Ohio State to take that Bama role. Like Nevada Buck said, the people that benefited the most from Nick Saban retiring was the Ohio State University, and that's just a fact. And it's going to play out next year, and people are going to see. People think the offense is going to fall off. You're out of your mind. I think our offensive play is going to be insane. You're about to see what an SFE-led team is going to look like. I think our defense is going to fall off. I think we do need to build a little more depth, but we could do that early in the season. I think by the end of the season, the defense is going to be flying around again. Silver Bullets are back and here to stay. BIA is here to stay. Block O is here to stay. Zone 6 is Zone 6, and they do what they do. So, like, what are we even talking about? I think we're back to LBU. We're going to have the best linebacker room in the country next year. I mean, who can not love what Coach Day is doing?
Yeah.
So whatever, I said all that to say this. I trust Coach Day just like Dev trusts Coach Day. And now that Coach Day got that monkey off his back with this Natty, I think you're going to see a whole different team next year. They're going to play loose, free, and they're going to be flying around. So we're putting the rest of college football on notice. We're the king of the hill, and we're going to stay up there.
Yeah. Here's my take on why you have some of the national media saying that about Ryan Day, that he runs a loose ship. It's because the way he runs his program is different. Yeah. It's different than the Alabama. It's different than the Georgia. It's different than the LSU. It's different. There's more of that love versus tough love. There's more of that, more focused on the culture than putting the best player on the field. Now, that's a real stretch right there. I said, don't take that literally, but he's different. And when people see different and they don't know how to handle it, they start freaking out and they just start blurring crap out of their mouth, right? And it's also a Big Ten coach that looks like he's about to, have a dynasty of a program. And a lot of these places, they can't take it, right? Because it's not Alabama you're talking about. It's not. So let's take a look at the places that coach differently than Ryan Day. Georgia, well, speeding ticket U. Alabama, Milrow chaos U right now. You know what I'm saying? So it's just different. Times change, things change, people change, but the message, it stays the same. It's just brought about differently, right? And Ryan Day has chosen a different route to do it. We do know for a fact that Ryan Day is a little bit more loose in his coaching style, but to say that he is loose like that, to take it that far, I'm not even sure loose is the correct word. The correct word is different. He's different with his approach, and it built a culture of a team that, dude, look what we went through this year, and look at the fight and the drive. Like, just use that as an example in life, and you will get whatever you want in life. If you follow the example that the Ohio State team gave you guys this year, the example that Ryan Day taught his players to do this year, and put it in your life, you're going to fail miserably at times. You're going to fail when you shouldn't fail miserably at times. You're going to have so many negative people around you saying, there's no way you can do what you're about to do. But if you just keep fighting and believing in your brothers and your family and the people around you that support you, you're going to be a national champ one day. Okay, so it looks a little bit different than a player makes a mistake on the field and he gets tongue lashed and screamed at in his face and the face mask grabbed and pounded. Instead, a mistake is made on the field and you're praying about it. You're talking to your player in a nice, calm manner and all that stuff. It's just different. It's different. A coach punches another coach in the face and gets in a fight, and you're not firing him immediately and kicking him to the curb. You're showing him love and grace and mercy like Jesus would and trying to walk him through his time in life. Wow, what a loose ship you're running, man. Wow, that's bad. That's bad. Won a national title.
Right.
Our tight ends coach doing pretty damn good. So
Yep.
it's just different. It just looks different. People can't handle it because it's Ohio State, most popular college football team in the world. And also, because of that, we're the most hated college football team in the world. And if you're on the hating side of it, by God, they love to spin narratives and do this whole 9 yards. But
man, you know who you left out of there? You left out arrogant you, aka Oregon Ducks. Their arrogancy is what's always going to be their downfall. Their coaching staff is real arrogant.
I don't know, dude. Did they beat Scum out for the arrogance?
Oh yeah, no, they definitely beat Team Up North out. Team Up North is just, they were down so bad and irrelevant for so long that they had no morals anymore, no scruples. They would do anything just to win, and now they're going to be down bad again. So I mean, they're going to be irrelevant here shortly anyway. So it is what it is.
Corey, we're definitely not overlooking Drevno on this channel just because he's my number 4. I just said if he got hired, I would be happy. I would say, heck yeah, Tim Drevno can come in. He's already here. He helped do this offensive line. So I'm not overlooking Drevno. At the beginning of the show, I said he'd be a number 1 choice. That's how hard this is to make this decision. But dude, Drevno would be absolutely phenomenal for a coach. But some other to back up a little bit. Emily put in the chat earlier, Luke Montgomery got on Twitter. He made a statement about Coach Fry and said, if you guys really understood what Coach Fry did for us players in this room this year, to paraphrase it, I'm probably leaving out details, not just on the football field, it's amazing what he did. So, again, shout out Coach Fry for being the man that you are. And yeah, you're not good at recruiting at all, but dude, you honestly do the most important thing, and that's treat your players right, teach them how to be men in this world. That's the most important thing. So you'll forever have my respect, dude. I hate to see you leave, even though 3 months ago I was yelling like an absolute moron to fire you. That just goes to show you how dumb I am about some of my takes. But hey, when I got a dumb take, I'll be the first one to tell you it was a dumb take. And I told you immediately.
We stand in the paint over here. There's a lot of people that don't. They throw out bets and then go ghost when someone calls them out on the bet. We don't do that over here. If we're wrong, we admit it, and we'll gladly admit it.
Yeah, 100%.
We're not perfect.
Yeah, Corey, Tim Drevno has a hell of a resume. Very good resume, no doubt. So there was that, and then couple other names that people are throwing around. Mike Cellini, the UNLV, is it, or UTSA? Whatever. He just got a new job. He was the assistant offensive line coach this year for us. He just took a new job. He's never been a coach anywhere. People are saying it's a possibility. That would be a choice to keep keep everything kind of the same. You know what I'm saying? But to me, it's Tim Drevno over him all day, every day, no questions asked. But, Mike Cellini was, I guess, on 3, as big as a joke have they become, to be honest with you. Put out a top 30 rising stars in coaching. Mike Cellini was on that list, so people were really basking that up. Not saying he's not a rising star in the offensive line coaching field, but don't listen on 3 about it, dude. They're really losing it. But people are also talked about Florida State, Alex something, Florida State's old offensive line coach, currently not employed. People are talking about Texas O-line coach, and then people are wanting us to do what Penn State did to us and go over there and snatch their dude away, which I do not want at all. He's my biggest, please no, I don't know. Right. What did they do this year that makes you say, "Oh yeah, give me him"?
Or any year. I mean, they have a solid O-line, but it's also Penn State. You should have a solid O-line, but it's nothing like the Texas O-lineman. I can see that. Plus, they'll stick a little fork in them. But I mean, they have a solid O-line year in, year out. Florida State, he could recruit, but I mean, could he develop? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big question. So I think the 4 that we said, that's where I would lean towards.
Yeah, me too. But then there's also the reality that this even goes for the defensive coordinator job, that they hire somebody that we've never heard of and we never bring up and we don't talk about. That's also a reality. So, we'll keep you guys informed the best we can with any information we get. We're not like extreme insiders here, know a bunch of people, but we know people. And if we hear something, we'll tell you what we hear. We heard that the NCAA already decided that the Natty's gone. Some of their 2021, 22, and 2023, they're gone as well for scum over there. The wins that they got, the NCAA will not recognize their national title, and they will not recognize their Big Ten championships. That's a done deal. That's signed, sealed, delivered. People do not like me saying that. They say, who's your source? And my response is my source. And they really don't like when I say that. But that's what we hear, right? I believe him. I think it's in, it's done, it's over with. It's already decided,
And
so,
people, it's so funny how people just automatically assume because we're kind of associated with Buckeye Scoop that our source is Kirk Barton and Nevada Buck.
Nope.
Like they're the only two people in the world.
Yeah. But great sources. I'll give you that. But they're saying the same thing. Well, they're saying a lot more than that. But no, this is not the source there. But I have no idea when that'll be announced. I choose to believe them, but the fact of the matter is I'm not the NCAA president, so that could change. I don't know.
Right.
I just report. I don't tell you guys what I know to try to convince you guys to believe me. I tell you what I was told to tell you what I was told. Okay, that's like all it is. I'm not up here saying, hey, it's already. Actually, I am saying it's already done. That's what I believe. I'm saying it's already done, but they haven't announced it. So I guess it could change, but it's not going to. They're done. It's over with. So, yeah, dude, we are the Ohio State University. Players come and go. Coaches come and go. Athletic directors come and go. Presidents come and go. Yet, we are still the winningest football team in the last 25 years because we're the Ohio State University, man. The most popular team in the world. Most sought after, dude. Recruiting is always going. I mean, look at our safety room last year. We changed safety coaches, boom, on a dime. We heard from Pop's Pod yesterday that Perry Eliano did a heck of a job, build relationships. Boom, he gets let go. Matt Guerriere comes in. Guess what? We still signed the number one safety in the country, Fahim Delane, and we still signed Devin Sanchez, all those people that Perry Eliano built relationships with. So, I mean, James Laurinaitis, he wasn't out on the road recruiting. He wasn't one of the 10 countable coaches until last year. Look at the linebacker class that dude signed. He had to build new relationships. And so to freak out about about recruiting on the offensive line, it'd be different if our recruiting on the offensive line has been really, really good. I mean, I would freak out too, but let's be honest. We've been in on a lot of offensive linemen at this time of the year, every single year, and we get let down. So I don't think I wouldn't put any credence to this affecting our offensive line recruiting, but we'll keep you guys updated when the hire is made. I'll do the best I can to reach out to some recruits and say, hey, what you think? You know what I mean? So some of those recruits are going to be coming on here and talking to us, depending on decisions that they make. We'll get some of them on here, but
and we have some very special guests coming on. We're going to keep that close to the vest. I'm telling you, just keep your notification bell. It's going to be very exciting. Very exciting.
Hey, here on the Buckeye Boys, I'll tell you this. There is not a figure in college football that we will not reach out to and ask to come on this show.
At all.
I will.
We have no shame.
I will message everybody. Mello will message everybody. We ask, you never know. And we have been very surprised at the answers we get. Like, yeah, absolutely, we'll come on. We're like, seriously?
Sean messages a lot of people too.
Sean. Yeah, dude.
Wait till you see like some of the people we lined up. We're shocked ourselves that they want to come on.
Yeah, well, to be quite frank with you, Sean is more of a beast than me and Mello are at it, dude. That dude, yes. Most of the guests you see on is because of Sean. So Sean is in the background of this channel, just absolutely tearing it up, so we're thankful that he's on this channel and doing what he does and having his show every Thursday. His role is just going to keep growing on this channel. He's absolutely phenomenal, dude. TG, phenomenal too. She's going to get better and better each time. Curse Designs, been designing, making thumbnails for us for a while. We appreciate everything that he does, dude. And now we got Pop's Pod. That's absolutely phenomenal. The family that we have built from this channel is wild. If I would have told you when I started this channel that we were going to have 2 parents of Buckeye recruits trying to help people with their recruiting, I would have called you liars. I would have said, nah, bro, there's no way.
2 parents, it's not just 2 normal parents. Their kids are number 1 at their positions, period. They're 3 and out kids. They're not going to be here long, so enjoy while they're here. And don't forget Pop's Pod on every other Thursday. It might be changing to Thursdays, but you need to watch it, especially if you have a child that wants to play collegiate sports. It doesn't matter if they're a male or a female or what sport, because it applies. From when we were going through this recruiting process, this is a completely different ballgame. Nothing is the same. It's night and day. You come in here and ask them questions. They already have been through it. And you got to think about it. They have the 2 number 1 players at their position. So they've seen and heard everything. So whatever you might have heard for your kid, they've heard that times 100. So they can give you some solid advice, especially about signing to a school for a shoe deal that's your shoe is never going to come out. So just make good choices. Come on here, watch Pop's Pod. They're 2 awesome gentlemen, 2 awesome men. They raise great kids. They're great husbands. They're great family men. And they do know X's and O's. And I can't wait till the season starts, or maybe at some point we can ask them some X's and O's questions, because they both played Division I football and they both have coached before. So they understand the X's and O's part of the game as well. So I also want to hopefully we could dive into that a little bit as well.
Yeah, and thank you, Emily, for reminding everybody. It's going to be kind of a hard thing to transition into that, but it's not an inside information. They're not going to answer any questions about Ohio State. They're not even going to say, how good do you think the offense for Ohio State is going to be next year? Nope. It just isn't going to happen. Surely you guys understand that, right? The position that they're in, the position that we're in. Let's just be blessed that we have them a part of the Buckeye Boys family, a part of Buckeye Nation, and they're coming on here and speaking to whatever subject that they are willing to speak about. We can surely understand why they don't want to come on here and talk about Ohio State. I wouldn't either. I wouldn't expect them to. I have a decent relationship with them. I'll just straight up tell you, I don't even text them about anything related to it. I don't ask them for information, right? When the Jim Knowles things happen, I didn't text them and say, hey, can you give me the details? Hey, who's going to be? Nah, I don't even do that, man. So sometimes you got to have that like emotional discernment of what's okay to ask and what's not okay to ask. But I want to shout.
If you ask a question and we don't post it, or we don't ask them, because we're going to shield them from that. If we see it, we're not asking them that. Because they're trying to put their back into a corner that doesn't need to be there. That's not what their show is about.
Yeah, 100%. Shout out to our moderators, dude. Sean Schrock, Karras, Tora. Who else is a mod on here? Who am I missing, chat?
I don't even know who the mods are.
Sean, Karras, Tora. Oh, dude, I feel like I'm missing somebody.
I just talked to Tora, too. He wanted me to send you guys a message. He said, hold it down for the Buckeye Boys. He can't wait to come on. You know his situation. He's taking over that business. He said it's been a lot rougher than he expected in the transition. As you know, you're a business owner, especially just starting out. But he said he definitely wants to get on with us when he gets his whole situation straightened out.
Yeah. And a special shout out to our loyal listeners, man. Steely has been a huge part of this channel. You guys know him. If you're part of Buckeye Nation, you know 79 Steely Matt, man. He's a boss on here, dude. He lets everybody know what time and shows going on, the whole 9 yards. And I'm going to, Emily, Buckeye Blitz, Tyler, Bob. Don't get mad if I didn't say your name. Lacey, Lisa, Dennis. Dennis is my dude, bro. He's a heck of a Buckeye, man. When I went to that Oregon game, dude, I would have been lost without him. And definitely a special shout out, Mika. She's going to be a part of the channel here coming on. She's been on here a couple times. We text back and forth from time to time. Big shout out Vader as well. Yes. Vader's about to be a new. We're making him a mod, so he's going to be a moderator on this channel. I think he's going to get a little bit more involved, too, start helping us out with some things. So, shout out. all you guys, man. All you guys are like family, man. I feel like I've known you for a long time. It's kind of wild how you can like get to know people and like people through a chat, and you've like never even seen their face. It's always I always get curious as to like, I wonder if we could make a game where you try to guess what people look like. Yeah, dude.
Shout out to my boy SC Buckeye Chris for pulling up on me when I was in South Carolina for a soccer game. And man, that dude Chris has a lot of knowledge as well. He was sitting there talking to all the girls, right? And he's talking about what's your grades at? What are you trying to major? Hey, look at this school. They give a lot of money. They have this program already. You're going to need this for that field. You're going to need to be in that program. So if you're already at that school, you automatically, once you graduate, you automatically get accepted into that post-grad program. So that way you're already set up. And then their soccer program isn't that bad. Chris, a shout out to you, man. I know you're a busy dude. You do everybody's taxes in the state of South Carolina governmentally. So like you're pretty busy, but man, you're awesome. The next time I go to SC, I'm gonna have to bring you around and talk to the girls again.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, what's up, Gamed? Came on here and said, go blue. Hey, you're welcome here, my dude. But not to come in and say, go blue. Come on, bro. Why don't you say, hey, what's up, peeps, and then say go blue? That's acceptable. We can accept that. Yo, shout out Aunt Chris. She's my aunt. She's been here the whole time. She supported me. She was beside me through my entire mess, which was, I want you guys to think about somebody who's going through a mess in their life and addiction, and think of the worst things that person can do. I did worse to my family, and they've accepted me back and forgiven me, and it's an awesome thing. Donald and Karen Roshbook, shout out to them too. I'm going to have to shut it off after them because I keep going, but I built a relationship with them over on Scoot, man, and he's trying to get me a J.J. Smith signed jersey right now, so we're on that
I need
hunt.
one of those too, brother.
We're on. Dude, I shouldn't have said that out loud, but I'm paying for it. So you got to pay for them
I'll pay
things.
For it, but hold up.
Yeah.
We're not gonna gloss over this because this is a conversation Dev and I had waiting at the airport to pick up bread at the Rose Bowl. We're going to do a show. It's probably going to be pre-recorded. I don't know, because it might get very intense. But I think you hear what Devin is saying about his journey, where he was in life and where he is now. But until you see the pictures and you see the stories that go with the pictures, it's not real, because it changed how I look at this man as a man. And I consider him a brother. And I told him, as part of his purpose, I see what I think God has put on his heart and who he is to lead more people to salvation. He needs to tell his story and keep it raw. You guys already know the stories, but you need the visual with the story and him talking about what he was thinking about, what he was going through, how he was saved in the process, for it to actually click and be real. I think you guys will have a newfound respect for this man right here. And like, people that mess with this man, I take it personally, and we might be cool, but if you come after my brother Dev, you could lose my number. Don't even text me. Bro. Don't talk to me. Like, I don't care how long we've been cool. Like, I mean that from the bottom of my heart. This dude is a great man, and he's doing great things. You can't call yourself a man of God or a child of God or a woman of God and attack this brother, and you don't know anything. So we're going to do a show, and we're going to bring you his story raw, uncut, and just buckle up. It's going to be a very intense story, I promise you.
Yeah, dude, I appreciate that, Mello. You know, I love you to death too, dude. It's the Lord's not done working in my life. I'm far from perfect, but the people, he put you in my life for a reason. And it's just been an amazing journey, and I'm so excited what the future has to hold. And I would love to do that, man, because I'm telling you, the reason I live is to show people that there is always hope, no matter what, through Christ Jesus. That is the reason I'm on this earth. That was a huge thing. So once God instills a purpose in your life, there's reasons why people are addicted to drugs, and they look at nudity and they gamble and do all these things because they don't know their purpose and they don't know who they are. Well, God gave me both those things. Yeah, I'm a child of God, and he gave me my purpose. And that's to show people that there's always hope, no matter what you're going through. And that's just the cold, hard facts of the matter. So it's not my testimony. It's God's testimony. It's God's testimony in my life. That's what I did before my construction business, worked for a ministry. And I can't tell you how fulfilling it is to get up and tell God's story in my life and to lead people to him and, the whole 9 yards. So that's my true passion in life. That's what I love to do. So, I would be honored to get on here and do it. And the uncut version would be, even thinking about doing that, it would be kind of wild, but for sure. That's why I'm here, man. Bible talks about, overcoming the enemy with the blood of the Lamb and the word of the testimony. That's not in the Bible by accident, man. You got to get out there. And I encourage you guys, if you know somebody that struggles with anything at all, share your testimony. Go up and, dude, words are very powerful. God created this earth with words, man. Words, they're not just simple words, man. It's like the rudder of a ship, man. What comes out of your mouth, man, is where you're going to go in life, dude. So it's a big deal. So careful with your words to people and use your words to encourage people, to instill hope in them. And careful with emotions too, man. I had written on a sticky note that emotions are the devil when I first came clean. They're not. Emotions are beautiful. They're awesome. But make sure you know that your emotions are coming from the Spirit before you reach out on them. So, yeah, man. This is a platform that, God gave us. He's given you guys the opportunity to come on this platform, and we obviously love Buckeye football, but Jesus is number one in my life, and I would love to incorporate more of that into this channel. Absolutely. So we'll definitely do that, man. We definitely got to do that. I would love to do it live. That would be pretty cool. So, God's good, man.
Stop my camera if we do it live. You might get me crying out here.
Oh, bro, it'll be over for me. You guys will see Devin cry for sure if I get into that, man. So for sure, man. God is amazing and good, and it's listen, man. A lot of emotions come up into this thing, and I just encourage you, man. If you've ever had somebody hurt you in your life with their words or their actions, forgive them, man. Reach out and forgive them. Life's too short, man, to get caught up, man. First and foremost, dude, we're all children of God, and there's nothing that happens in this world that's serious enough to ruin a relationship with a friend or a family member or anything like that. Like, dude, bro, life's a water droplet, a mist in the wind, dude. It comes and it goes, dude. We don't have time to be getting caught up in words that hurt you or an action that hurts you, man. Reach out, talk to that person, figure it out, and forgive them to move on, man. There is wisdom in forgiveness, but man, we're all Buckeyes, but first and foremost, we're all children of God. So I encourage you, man, if you got somebody on your heart tonight that you do not like, that you despise, that you talk bad about from time to time, you're hurting yourself. You're keeping yourself in a prison. So release yourself from that. Don't do that to yourself. Don't put that burden on you. Let it go, man. Let it go. Let it go for you and do it for them. And that's letting God work in your life. That's a testimony in your life that you can share with other people. I promise you, once you do that, oh my God, dude, what you get from that, the fruits that is given to you from that, the joy, the happiness, it's literally, it's not of this world, and it's a beautiful thing. So I encourage you to do that, man. And I'm not perfect, so I'm sitting up here saying all these words. I try my best to do that, dude. Melo's been very close to me. I call him about all kind of stuff anymore. He knows I'm still of this flesh, dude. I get emotional. I say things. I do things. And then a day later, I'm like, crap, man. Dude, I should not have done that. I should not have said that. But we're all here to get better and move forward and try to get closer and closer to Jesus, man. So, appreciate everybody watching. We'll definitely we are going to get more of that stuff involved in this channel, slow down a little bit about some things and start incorporating that too. But, Mello, you got anything else, man?
Nope, you said everything. Thank you guys for joining us and sitting here and kicking it with us. The show wouldn't be anything without you guys, to be honest with you. We love doing it. We appreciate each and every one of you in the chat and that support us. Even the rival fans that come in here, because we know you're going to get abused as soon as you say whatever you're going to say. Stilly is going to be all over you like white on rice. And you just gotta, if you're going to come here, just make sure you have your facts lined up and you're ready to stand in the paint, because they're going to hold you to it. So other than that, man, I love Buckeye Nation. This is the best fan base in all of sports, period. And we appreciate you guys. We love you guys. We won a freaking Natty the right way.
Yeah.
No cheating, no asterisk.
Yeah.
We did it the hardest way, and we're about to go back to back.
Yeah. Yeah, ABH, I feel you. This rivalry and some of the other fans, especially the Team Up North fans, it tests my faith. It tests, hey, are you really a child of God and walk? And that's why I don't get into it with them like that. Like, I'll get mad, walk away. But we accept all fan bases here, man. Just come in respectful. And no, this is a Buckeye channel, man. You're going to come on here and say, go blue. Get ready. You're going to get it, you know. So just don't make it personal, man. We love banter back and forth, but don't come in here and get personal about anything and move on, man, because life's way bigger than college football. I promise you that. But we appreciate you, family. If you guys ever need anything, dude, shoot us an email, man. If you're going through something in life, doesn't have to be just about football, dude. If you want questions answered, if you want somebody to help you, I'll tell you right now, I'm helping somebody in personal training now. I'm giving him, some workouts to do and whatnot. I talk to him every day on the phone, ask how he's doing. So I love it, man. That's the calling of my life. If you need help with anything, if you need some motivation in life, if you need some advice on how to get over a situation or a relationship or anything like that, give me a call. I'll let you know my experiences in life. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'll tell you what I've been through. Been through a lot in life, man. So reach out to us at thebuckeyeboys@gmail.com and be patient. Got a lot going on, but I'll get to it as soon as I can. But on that note, we appreciate you guys. We love you guys. Go Buckeyes. Natty champs, baby. OH.
I-O.